to Nate Dogg. What's up, Nathan? How we doing?
Hey, Dr. John, doing great. How are you?
I'm good, brother. What's up?
First of all, I wanted to just thank you for what you do in your show. It's had a huge impact on me in my personal life and career, which ironically is why I'm calling. So
Awesome,
I just wanted to thank you for all you do.
Well, thanks, brother. Appreciate you being with us, man.
Yeah, of course. I guess I'll just start with a question and fill in some holes that I've written down based off of that question. So my question is, how can I manage the stress and anxiety for my dream job, which I currently have, that I've pursued for years, so that it doesn't negatively impact my home life and recent engagement? And I've started to see some of those negative impacts at home and on my relationships there, and I can kind of fill in what that looks like and means.
What's your dream job?
I'm a school principal.
All right. What ages?
Elementary.
Fantastic,
so K through 5. Yeah. Man, I've been doing it for a couple of years, and it's what I've always felt like I wanted to do. It's been a lot of hard work that's come through getting to this point, and with the natural stresses and things that come with that, I have seen, especially in the last year, some effects on my home life and relationships at home. Not with my fiancée in a argumentative or angry way, but more like quiet sensory overload really quickly because of that feeling of anxiety, exhaustion at home. It tends to, I almost feel like I find myself recoiling and wanting to lie in the bed, be distant, if that makes sense. And thankfully, my fiancée is extremely supportive and is very understanding. But the last thing that I want to do is have what has been my dream job for years negatively impact a relationship that we're planning to be together forever. And so, any advice, questions you have for me?
Yeah, you got it, man. Well, dude, thanks for the call, and I'm just proud of you for having this, getting way upstream on this.
Yeah.
Like, you're in a couple of years, you kind of got a rhythm. Like, this is kind of the job, and now I'm about to say I do, which is going to transform your life in a number of different ways.
Sure.
Most of the time, when somebody says they've been chasing their dream job, and they're a few years in, there's a season of grief. And here's what the grief is. Not always, but most of the time. I thought this was going to feel different. Have you experienced that?
Absolutely. I don't know I'm sure you're familiar with Gallup and StrengthsFinder. My number one strength is competition, followed right closely behind significance, focus, achiever, and futuristic. And
so here you go, brother. Here's your golf clap. You made it. Congratulations, right?
Yeah.
And then you're either within 6 months already looking to how do you be assistant superintendent, or you're trying to exhale and realize, okay, this is this job.
Yeah.
And every minute you're sitting there exhaling, saying, okay, this is this job, you have 35 teachers that all report to you, which, by the way, in no other planet does somebody have 35 or 40 direct reports. That's insane.
Yeah.
Except school principals do, all of them.
Yeah.
And all of these students, right? And they're coming and they keep emailing you and they keep texting you and she won't show up and that guy didn't do whatever he's supposed to do and now you're, all that.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like I thought it was going to feel.
Yeah.
And most of the time, especially if you've got significance as number one, I'll just ask this directly. What was this dream job going to solve in you? Who are you showing that I could?
I think I kind of anticipated going like this direction. I think a variety of individuals, myself when I was 15 and some peers at 15, family. When I was in school at a young age, like I was not, academics, education was not my focus, athletics was. And so this was, I think this was my direction of kind of saying I can do it. And
who was the first call you made when you got the job?
My principal at the time when I was an assistant principal, actually.
Okay.
And I mean, I remember exactly where I was when that happened. It was a Sunday. This has been how I have defined myself up until this relationship and engagement. And I think that's part of what, I'm feeling, is that this career, this profession has been how I've defined success. And I feel that now conflicting with what is most important.
So make no mistake, your feelings and your senses during this transition time is right.
Yeah.
Because you will be defined moving forward as a husband,
mm-hmm.
and as one day a father, and as a community member, followed by what you do. And our culture's got this whole thing backwards.
Yeah.
And so the challenge is you get significance when your school gets recognized.
Right.
And you get another certificate on the wall. It was a moment of deep reflection for me. I had my wall of certificates when I was the chief student affairs officer at a billion-dollar university.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole wall. All my graduate degrees, my Harvard certificate, all of the award, all of it. And then I came to this job and I said, "Hey, where do I send my transcripts?" And the head of HR was like, I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't think you understand. Like, I've got 500 degrees. And like, where do I send this stuff? And he said, "You can send it to me. I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to delete it." And I jokingly said, no, I need you to need this.
Yeah.
And I went through it was somewhat of a spiritual exercise. I threw almost all of those awards away because they're not me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not me. And this job is not you. Now, you are a person who serves this community. You are a person who hopefully puts children first.
Absolutely.
You are a person who takes care of teachers who are just getting run over.
Mm-hmm.
You are a person who has compassion for parents who are told on a daily basis that teachers are trying to kill their kids, schools are failing their kids, the cafeteria is trying to kill their kids, and when you look in the mirror, no, we're not.
Yeah.
And so you show up and you listen to angry parent after angry parent after angry parent.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go home, by the way, it's right to be exhausted, dude.
Yeah.
You're not broken. You're not crazy. The things that my wife and I had to do, and she worked in elementary education forever, as both as a leader and as a teacher, and I was in education forever too, both at elementary school and at the high school level, and then at the university level for most of my career.
Right.
Here's what we had to do: we had to split the year up into seasons. So, for instance, August 1st, we would go on a date, and it was a big, long, drawn-out affair, and it was a goodbye date.
Yeah.
And I will see you September 1. Now, of course, we lived in the same house and yada, yada.
Sure.
But we both knew it is going to be 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. till midnight for the next 30 days.
Yeah.
And then in September, we had another big getaway day on the calendar. And it gave us kind of like being in winter. When it hits January 15, you just know for the next 60 days, it's going to be heavy
grind.
Yeah. It just is. It's okay. We have to shovel the driveway, and we're gonna have to clean off the windshield. That's just part of it. But this season ends. Okay. Most of the time in education, if you're not intentional about seasons, you just go from crisis to crisis to crisis to thing, and it's a slow drip of death.
And it really, that's where I feel like I am right now, and it has manifested itself into, I call it decision paralysis. If that makes sense. Just this, I know what I need to do, and I know what the right decision is, but getting going it's that paralysis feeling.
Often that is somebody on the outside of the building isn't taking care of themselves. Do you have exercise routine?
Not like I have now.
That's got to be so I want you to start reverse engineering what is important to you. I got to feel good. You're going to have to get control of what you put in your body because your body's made up of what you eat. I wish it wasn't the case. It just is, and that sucks.
Yeah,
I hate it, man.
Yeah.
And dude, schools are the worst. There's donuts everywhere, and there's candy everywhere, and there's mashed potatoes and those chicken fried steaks that I just want to rub on my face because they're so good, right? All that.
Yep.
You have to decide. You also, if you and your fiancé, as y'all get married, if y'all have a bunch of student loans, you're not going to be able to breathe. Here's why. Because you're going to deal with hell after parent after parent, after this, after teacher drama. And there's that little sense, that little nagging, I don't like this anymore. But if you have a bunch of student loans and you have a Suburban and you've got the new Tahoe and you have financed the whole thing, you can't quit. You're trapped.
Yeah. Yep.
And the artists I talk to, the physicians I talk to, and the educators that I talk to, the ones that don't owe anybody anything are actually able to repel and stay in those jobs longer.
Yeah.
And they can love them more deeply. And they can look at associate like superintendents and be like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I could just not respond to that email because they're gonna send you a new strategic whatever initiative in 6 weeks, and who cares? But when you owe money, you can't. Right, and we can just keep going down the list here.
Sure.
But you have to decide, I'm worth being whole and good and not defined by this thing outside of the classroom, outside of this little building, so that I can rappel in here and do the hard work. And by the way, bro, we desperately need good principals, good leaders. We need them.
Yeah.
We need them. And so I'm begging you to not quit, but I'm also begging you, like, just brother to brother, like, begin saying, I'm worth loving as much as I love these students. I'm worth loving as much as I love my fiance, these teachers. And I'm gonna love me enough so that I can get in there and do this hard work. Is that fair?
Very.
Okay.
Very. Yeah.
Are you in?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here's the deal. I'm gonna hook you up. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hook you up with my book. I'm gonna send you 2 of them for you and your fiance to read together, Building a Non-Anxious Life, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna send you that for free. Second thing is, I'm gonna send you a code to my buddy Lane Norton's Carbon app, which is a weight loss app. It's how to track your food. It's a pain in the butt for the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then it becomes pretty easy. I'm also going to send you a code that you can get any workout program you want on with my friend's Mind Pump. Okay? Any workout.
Thank you.
And I want you just to print it off and take it to the gym with you and just decide, I'm going to do this. Or they've got one that you can just get some dumbbells and kettlebells and put them in your garage.
Yeah.
Okay?
I appreciate that,
and in
man.
60 days, I want you to call me back.
Absolutely.
It's okay. I've done this. I invested in this.
Yeah.
By the way, eat the donut when your teacher brings. We're not talking about.
It's an obligation in the building from time to time.
It kind of is from time to time.
It really is.
And if you don't, everyone's like, "Oh, are you better than
us?"
It's
100% a culture killer for sure.
It is. But you can eat half of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can eat half. And by the way, if you can eat half a donut, you're kind of a serial killer. But that's fine, right?
So true.
But here's the thing. I want you to begin to take care of yourself and love and honor yourself outside the classroom so that you can get in there and do the hard stuff.
Absolutely.
Is that
Thank
fair?
you.
And by the way, in order, are you a person of faith?
I am.
Okay. You're a child of God. Followed by. That means you are loved eternal. Followed by.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to be a husband.
Yeah.
A woman is about to hitch her entire life to yours and you to hers. One day you're going to be a dad. Then, whatever it is that you do for a living, right? In that order, man. And so I'm going to be a steward of my body and my finances and my resources and my ability to love and impact the world around me. That's who I'm going to be. I'm going to take care of myself and be a good steward of this stuff so I can be the best husband I could be, so I can be the best dad I can be, and be the best employee I can be. And every teacher out there, every principal out there, every superintendent out there, please, this upcoming school year, get with a couple of your buddies and decide, I'm going to honor myself. I'm going to honor my body. I'm going to honor my mind. I'm going to honor my sleep so that I can get in there and do this really, really hard job. It's so hard. And if you're somebody that complains and yells at teachers and administrators, stop. They're working themselves to death on behalf of your children. Let's make it happen. Let's love them well.